Assalamu alaikum students. Today's lecture is about respiration, which is from your chapter number 7, bioenergetics. Firstly, we will look into the definition of respiration. That is, it is a process in which the carbon and hydrogen bonds present in the food are broken down with the help of oxygen, and as a result ATP or energy is produced. It is a process in which carbon-hydrogen bonds of the food are broken down. Organisms utilize oxygen for the breakdown of carbon-hydrogen bonds present in the food to produce energy in the form of ATP. It involves oxidation-reduction reactions, and as a result, carbon dioxide and water are produced. So this energy-yielding process is called cellular respiration. Now, if we talk about the types of respiration, then according to the availability of oxygen, there are two types of respiration, that is aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. The cellular respiration occurring in the presence of oxygen is called aerobic respiration, while the one that occurs in the absence of oxygen is called anaerobic respiration. So firstly, we will discuss aerobic respiration. In this process, oxygen is present and there is complete oxidation of glucose with the maximum release of energy. In its first phase, the molecule of glucose is broken down into two molecules of pyruvic acid, while in the second step, the molecules of pyruvic acid is completely oxidized to produce carbon dioxide, water and energy, which is in the form of ATP. The first step of aerobic respiration takes place in the cytoplasm, while the second step takes place in mitochondria. This process, that is aerobic respiration, takes place in all the higher organisms. So if we talk about the steps of the aerobic respiration, then the first step is conversion of glucose to pyruvic acid, and this process does not require any oxygen. Secondly, the second step involves the complete oxidation of pyruvic acid to produce carbon dioxide and water. The first step takes place in cytoplasm, while the second step takes place in mitochondria. Now, if we look at the equation or the reaction that takes place in the cellular respiration, then we can see that glucose, that is food, in the presence of oxygen, it is completely oxidized to form carbon dioxide, water and ATP, that is energy. Now further, if we look into the mechanism of respiration, that what type of reactions, what type of processes and what steps are involved in this aerobic respiration, then we can see that the respiration is a very complex series of reactions, but it is a continuous process, but for the convenience it is divided into three main stages, that is glycolysis, Krebs cycle and electron transport chain, etc. Firstly, we will talk about glycolysis. And as we can see that glycolysis takes place outside the mitochondria, that is in cytoplasm. Oxygen is not involved in this process, and the glucose is broken down to two molecules of pyruvic acid, and as a result, two ATP molecules are produced. As you can see that glucose is being converted into two pyruvate molecules, and as a result, two ATP molecules are produced. The second step is Krebs cycle. In Krebs cycle, the pyruvic acid is completely oxidized along with the formation of ATP, NADH and FADH2, and before entering the Krebs cycle, pyruvic acid is converted into acetyl-CoA. Electron transport chain is the final step of cellular respiration. It is the transfer of electrons on the electron transport chain, in which the electrons are carried from one electron transport carrier to the other. In this step, NADH and FADH2 releases hydrogen ions and electrons. When these electrons move through the electron transport carriers, they lose energy, which is used to produce ATP. At the end of the chain, electrons and hydrogen ions combine with oxygen to form water. That's all for today's lecture. Thank you.